Hey, welcome to the Woods fans. When we left off in my bathroom remodel, the flooring was in bad shape. I had just removed the shower and the plumber came to relocate our toilet and add a vent. So now I have these holes in my floor and I need to do a patch job. The flooring that we installed throughout our whole house is a thin luxury vinyl plank, and I am going to use that same product to just seamlessly add in what is needed in this bathroom space. I'm going to show you exactly how to replace and repair your luxury vinyl plank glue down flooring. Now, the glue on this stuff really holds strong, so I used quite a bit of muscle to pull all this up. There was also a bit of nails from a floating floor that this glue down LVP got laid on top of. So you'll see here that I'm going to be pulling out nails as well. The thing that I really like about glue down LVP is that you can do repairs like this without having to pull up the whole floor the way you would have to if you had a click together floating floor system. You have to start from one end and kind of pull up everything, versus these you can replace individual planks if you have blemishes or issues. I often do home DIY projects, so I just thought a floor that was repairable for me was a plus. And the nice thing about this floor too is you don't need underlayment, it's just the plank. The underlayment's actually built in, which I'll show you in this clip here. When I was pulling it up, the plank pulled apart and you can really see the different layers that make up this luxury vinyl plank floor, from the foamy middle to the wood grain printed top to the no skid bottom that grabs onto the adhesive on your subfloor. Now, this flooring and this video is sponsored by znetflooring.com. This is an e-commerce site where you can order luxury flooring at discount prices, and I have to say I have really enjoyed working with them. I worked with them 2 years ago as well to originally install this floor, and this patch job is no exception. Their customer service is awesome, and I really think that they have some of the best selection around. So where the old toilet was, this part, you can see there's silicone and holes drilled, so I'm going to pull up 3 planks to replace here. There was one row of luxury vinyl planks in the middle of the bathroom that didn't have blemishes from the shower or toilet removal, and that's great. I'm going to leave that there as a jumping point to guide me. Now, if you guys don't already subscribe, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I do lots of DIY videos, and right now I'm in the middle of a bathroom renovation, so you're going to see everything from how to install a toilet. I'm going to be painting tile. I'm going to be building cabinetry in this space and doing lots of fun, cool things. So be sure to subscribe if you want to watch more from Welcome to the Woods. Now, the next thing, once the planks were finally up, I'm going to replace some of the subfloor. The subfloor that got placed below the shower was this chipboard stuff, and so I'm cutting around the new drain for the toilet septic drain with my multi-tool to get that free so I can pull up the chipboard subfloor. I don't like the way that chipboard reacts with the adhesive, so I'm deciding to get rid of that, but unfortunately they installed the toilet drain already on top of that, and I started to remove the screws from the toilet drain, but I just didn't want to mess up the plumbing connections because they were kind of fresh. So instead I decided to cut around it. This might be silly. Maybe I should have just removed the whole thing, but whatever. So now I'm taking my crowbar and hammer and getting that piece of subfloor up. To be honest, I didn't know what to expect when I pulled this up because the shower I knew was added in a DIY style, and the reason I knew that is it actually didn't have any vents until we paid the plumber to come in and plumb this bathroom for us. He added the vent. So when I pulled it up, I came across some old underlayment and tile, vinyl tile, and then I also came across on this side a massive hole cut in the existing subfloor that allowed them to run piping, and I'm assuming the drain, to the shower. So as I thought about how to secure that to be walked on, I decided to begin ripping up this old underlayment and tile. I had thought that the subfloor I was removing was slightly higher than the rest of the bathroom, and now I realized why. This tile did not continue under the other subfloor. It was just under this section. So first I was using my crowbar and hammer, and then when I got all of that up, that way I came in with the scraper attachment on my multi-tool. My multi-tool came in so handy in this bathroom remodel, especially with the flooring project. If you don't yet have a multi-tool, I would definitely recommend it. There is a link in the description of one that I'm using. So now I just need to come in and vacuum up my mess after scraping a lot of that black sticky underlayment. It was like kind of gross in here. But after the vacuum, I thought I was ready to start planning out my subfloor. So the new piece of plywood I bought is only a 1/4 inch thick, but I think it's going to work well. It's the same height as what was replaced in here before. I'm looking for a bowl that's exactly the size of the toilet drain so that I can trace around it and cut out a part of the subfloor to fit around this. So I found a bowl that was just the right size. I laid down my 1/4 inch thick plywood for my subfloor, and then I laid the bowl on it and traced around the toilet drain. This just gave me a template to use my jigsaw and quickly cut this out. In order to get my 4x4 sheet of plywood to cover all the area I needed, I had to cut it into 2 pieces, and I used almost every piece of the whole sheet. So I am fitting them together now. My floor, of course, wasn't square. You know, working in an old house like I am, then you just never have walls that like are parallel to each other or come to a 90-degree angle in the corner. So I had to do quite a bit of adjusting to get everything to fit nice and snug. Where the 2 pieces of subfloor met the other subfloor, I actually had to shim it up a little with an 1/8 inch thick piece of plywood underneath, and then I nailed everything down. This just got the area where my pieces of subfloor met the other perfectly flush. This is important because this is right where your feet are going to be when you're sitting on the toilet. And I just know, doing this for myself, that I would notice the discrepancy forever, especially since the flooring I'm laying down telegraphs a lot and you can feel things through it since it's quite thin. So in this clip, you will see me using my Kreg jig to drill pocket holes in some thick pieces of wood. This is my solution for the gaping hole in my bathroom floor. I'm going to put in these supports in the hole so that you can walk on it and it'll be secure. Kreg jig holes allow you to drill screws at an angle, and so since the original subfloor in this room was a very thick hardwood, it was sturdy enough to just screw right into. I did this both for the big hole where the shower was and the hole from the old toilet drain because those areas were unstable with just the 1/4 inch thick subfloor. I added 3 here, but that hole right where the drain ended, I didn't put anything because in the future I'll be building a cabinet over that, so no one will walk there. So once I got it in place and I walked on it, it was no longer spongy. I was very, very happy, and this piece got nailed down as well. To cover the hole from where the toilet drain used to be, I'm going to have to put a new piece of subfloor slightly diagonal. So I'm just tracing out what I want to cut. And this is so that it covers both the hole where the water pipe came up through the floor as well as the drain pipe. So once I got that kind of marked out, I cut it with my plunge blade on my multi-tool again. And then I just pried it up. Of course, at this point, my camera was just misbehaving and totally out of focus, so I apologize, but you get the gist. Now, if you're watching this video to learn how to patch or repair an area of your existing glue-down luxury vinyl plank flooring, then everything from here on out is going to be the most applicable to you. I feel like everything I've showed so far has been very specific to my weird scenario in my old house. But this step is to remove the adhesive that was already down on the subfloor. You want your subfloor to be as clean as possible, so I'm using the scraper attachment again on my multi-tool. Like I said, it was totally invaluable during this process, and this easily scraped up the super sticky adhesive that was all over where the planks I pulled up were. Look at this mound of the gooey adhesive I pulled up with my multi-tool. You need the subfloor to be as clean as possible before troweling your new adhesive. This is such an important part. I always say a good job is 80% prep work. So you can see so far that the entirety of this video I've just been preparing and preparing so that that thin flooring that goes down looks seamless in the end. Alrighty, now let's lay our adhesive. So you're going to want to use a product that is specially formulated for floors and specifically the type of floor you're laying, because there are different adhesives for like sheet vinyl versus vinyl plank versus like a laminate glue down floor, etc. You spread it with a notched trowel, and the one I'm using is really high quality. You can find it in the description. I'm spreading at a 1/8 inch thickness. This is a very thin layer of adhesive, but the notch trowel allows there to be hills and valleys of adhesive, which is important to kind of determine when the adhesive is ready and tacky for you to lay your planks on it. So I spread this all around. This is kind of fun, and I had to be careful of the row that I wanted to leave intact. Once that was covered, I had to wait for it to dry. A few videos I watched mentioned that this takes about an hour, but mine definitely took much longer. I think it depends on the temperature in your home and the airflow. But basically, the hills of your adhesive troweling should be kind of cloudy colored, and then the valleys should be totally clear. So I'm showing a close-up here a few hours after troweling, where you can see that most of it is ready to go. There's a few spots where the adhesive is still bright white, but in general, the top of each trowel line is cloudy and the valley is totally clear to the subfloor. So while I was waiting for that to dry, I did work on measuring out my first couple pieces. The first piece I'm going to lay is this one that goes underneath the door jamb. This one is just going to be the easiest to start with based on what I'll have to patch. But I wanted to cut this after measuring it actually on a scroll saw, because vinyl flooring is really plastic and it's really easy to just like accidentally crack if you're using a heavy duty power tool. So I like my scroll saw cutting this because it is just so precise. It doesn't like go too crazy or strong that it's gonna bust the flooring. Obviously, you could just do this with a utility knife as well, and I'll be showing that process later in this video, but this is what I chose to do for the door jamb, and it came out perfectly. So let's lay some floor. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to plan out our design. You can see that I'm just following the design that was already put forth by the rest of the floor. Each of your seams are going to want to be staggered, and you don't want anything to end too close to the wall either, so plan that out accordingly. Lay your plank in the adhesive totally straight, seams butting up next to each other as tight as possible, and then roll it with a heavy duty roller. I purchased this little black roller from Amazon, and it was quite heavy duty for what it was, and I could kind of lean all my body weight on it to give it even more pressure, which was helpful. But if you're going to be laying an entire floor and not just doing a patch job, then you should definitely consider renting one of the like 300-pound steel floor rollers that are meant to do large spaces. So I'm just going plank by plank, lining things up and laying the full planks when I can first. This just makes things easier so that if there's cut pieces at the end, you can patch those with what's left. Probably the simplest way to cut this type of flooring is just with a measuring tape, a utility knife, and a speed square. So I used a scrap piece of flooring to kind of have underneath my cut, because you're going to be running the utility knife from one edge to the other. You just line up your speed square so that your cut is at a perfect 90-degree angle. You score it, and then you snap it. And it breaks super easily. It is just that simple. You don't need any fancy tools. I'm just going to show a quick close-up of that process here just so that you can truly see how easy it is, and invite you to come follow me on my Instagram channel. So on my Instagram, my audience gets to see all the behind the scenes of my DIYs in stories. So follow the link in the description if you're interested in that. Now I'm using that same bowl that told me the size that my toilet drain was in order to trace and measure the cut I need to make on the plank. So I did carefully score this with a utility knife and then bust it off. Patching this floor, troweling the adhesive, waiting, the whole thing only took a matter of maybe 4 hours. So it would be really easy to do this if you didn't have all of the subfloor work that I had. Don't be intimidated by this DIY, you guys. You can definitely do it. Here I'm just caulking the edge because I wanted a nice crisp end to the trim piece that was already there, and I'm done. So look at this beautiful floor. I'm so happy that I took on patching this luxury vinyl plank floor and just repairing it myself instead of hiring this out. It was very easy, and I hope my video is helpful for you to be able to do it yourself. If you want to purchase the flooring that I have, we love it. We have it all throughout our main level, and we've had it for 2 years. It hides dirt beautifully, has gray and brown undertones, so it matches with everything. You can buy it in the link in the description on this video. Go to znetflooring.com and tell them that I sent you by clicking on the link. Thank you for watching. Welcome to the woods. We'll catch you again next week with another video.